As part of our corporate graduation system, after we've freed someone up from a demanding corporate job if they have one, and we've set a life design in motion, and we've rebuilt them an entrepreneurial identity to thrive in a new path, then they have the foundation to then build a business. It must happen in that sequence to succeed. Now, the question I often get is, Matt, what kind of business are we actually building here? Well, let's break that down today. First, I'll start with what we do not build. First, we don't build side hustles or passive income schemes. Now, why don't we do those things, especially passive income? Well, one, they aren't passive. Two, they take too much time. Three, require a ton of capital. Four, you're dependent on outside market conditions for things to go right, like real estate or franchises. And number five, maybe most impactful, you hate it. You don't like the work. And if you don't like your current corporate job and you start doing something on the side you don't like just for money, you're going to be very miserable. And you can't afford to feel any more miserable. You want purpose, autonomy, freedom, energized relationships. You want that now. Don't kick the can down the road and think that a few $100 a month from a real estate portfolio is going to get you that sort of outcome in your life. No, you need to take drastic action now. So we aren't building for passive income. We also aren't building for low ticket digital junk like ebooks, templates, simple courses, and you're not starting some sort of influencer brand just to gain followers that you can't do anything with. We don't build towards those things. Those are mainly money focused at best. Now, what do we build? We build a premium online business. This is a business built around transformation, not just giving information, but a much needed transformation for someone in this world that desperately needs it. You're creating a new future for them, and we'll break down exactly how to do that shortly. In this business, I want it to be something that lights you up. Your strengths, your story, your credibility should all be woven into it. It should feel natural to you, not sort of a forced thing like another job that you are adopting just because it makes logical sense. Make a business that comes from you, through you. It is you. Create a very real, urgent outcome for people that will pay big money for it because they desperately need it in their life. Again, we're not trying to build ourselves another job. We're not trying to replicate corporate under our own name. We're trying to build a freedom vehicle that fuels freedom, income, impact, family, the alignment you desperately need in your life. And when you have this premium thing, that means you are operating in your own space. You've learned to position yourself as one of one. People perceive you as that. They value at a premium price point, so you can charge premium rates, many thousands of dollars, not a few $100, okay? And then effectively, you're living in your own category. When you build this type of business, you should have a business that doesn't look like anyone else's. You don't want to be a commodity player. It's a very crowded world out there. You need to differentiate, be one of one. Do category design work so that you are operating in your own category and your job gets way easier on marketing it and selling it and getting better clients. Now, I'm going to break down what the component pieces are in a second, but before we do that, just a reminder on the foundations. For this sort of thing to work, if we're trying to graduate corporate life and get out into a new state as fast as possible, we got to nail the foundations. So number one, this requires, if you've got a demanding corporate job, put that thing on autopilot. Do the work like we do in our program to reclaim 20 to 40% or more of your time, energy, and brain space. You want to feel in control. You want to feel peaceful. You want anxiety just to melt away in your world. You need space so that you can think, move, and build something. We also need to activate your future self, that new identity, not the corporate one, but the entrepreneurial one, who is much bolder, much more assertive and connected to their dreams. Okay? So once you have that space in your life and you've activated this powerful new identity, which is like your internal operating system, these are the non-negotiable foundations for entrepreneurial success. If you try to jump straight into building a business, good luck. 99% just crash into a wall because they are building on a foundation of sand. You can't have that. Now, once we've nailed this foundation, again, we really do this in depth in the Uncaged Life Design program we run. But here's the mechanical pieces that you then go through. So the full spectrum of things we go through in building a business, it's ideation, positioning, marketing, sales, delivery. Let's go one by one. Ideation means we go through a thorough process to uncover your gifts Everything that you've ever overcome in your life serves as raw material to help someone else with, to solve a real problem. You need to uncover all of that. You need to find what lights you up. We call it your genius. Your genius should be the centerpiece of your business. And then you just play matchmaker between your genius and helping someone you deeply care for in this world. Could be an organization, could be an individual. Either one can work. And then we get mechanical and wrap the business around that matchmake, right? You've got a genius, you've got their need. Then we get into positioning, which is the second phase, where you want to make it abundantly clear how you are wildly different from everyone else. Here, you're talking to the outside world about a new future that needs to exist. You hear me talking about corporate graduation all the time. This is the category that I've been creating for years at this point, talking about it relentlessly, inviting the right people in, like you maybe. And when we do this, we are perceived as one of one. We don't look like anyone else because we've framed, named, and claimed our own category in this world. Everything downstream from here gets better because you've got solid positioning. You don't want to be another XYZ digital consultant. You don't want to be another life coach. You can't afford that. You want to be a premium transformational offering in this world. Then you get into marketing, where we would help attract your people and create connection with those you're meant to serve. Start with a warm network, then learn to tap into a cold network. Learn the sales process, whether you are in sales or you're one of those who says, I am not a salesperson. Well, tough love, you got to learn to be a salesperson. You've got to learn the mechanics of selling this type of offer because that's the lifeblood of your business, to make offers for premium clients, premium price points. That's what we're after here. And then ultimately learn to package everything for delivery. One core, powerful offer that gets someone an outcome. You learn to package it for leverage and scale. You productize it so that you're not doing the same thing again and again. You're wasting your precious hours. You work smart, not hard. And when you learn all of these pieces end to end, this is vital because you become fluent in the skill set of an end-to-end CEO. You don't want to do all this stuff forever on your own because you'll burn out, but you want to learn to do it, to have engagement with it so that you can teach others and see what's working and what's not, to know to hire the right people or resources to make sure it can come to life. Now, beyond this, how do these businesses come to life? Three big typical models. And again, these are all grounded in service. We're not creating a product out the door. We're creating a service where you are involved in the delivery. You are engaging with people. So typically that's coaching, consulting, or agency. Coaching, and I want you to think beyond one-on-one, but think in a broader sense. You're creating an environment for people to come in and do hard transformational work to get necessary outcomes. Maybe your coaching has to do with a career offer, spirituality, relationships, health, business, financial, whatever it is. Like, these sorts of things are all places where you can coach people to better outcomes. There's so many ways this can look where you can get a ton of scale. Like, my offer in Uncaged Life Design is a coaching-based offer. I invite people in and they do the hard work with us, like a gym. And we can do this 30, 40, 50 people at a time. And it's not really that much more work on us because we've created a scaled model. We've productized our knowledge. We've given it to people. We get them doing much of the work. Second element is consulting. This is merely advising people so that they get outcomes that are desperately needed in their world. Typically, you're doing this for businesses, maybe in a financial area or a technology area, for example. It can look any way, but you're merely showing up at the right points with them throughout an engagement to get them the outcomes. And the third element is an agency. This is where you create a done-for-you model where you work with others at specific points of interaction to help them get an outcome thereafter. Maybe you are starting up a social media engine for a person or a small organization, for example. But ultimately, this is you productizing what you're gifted at, what lights you up, giving it to people at scale so that they get much needed outcomes, transformational things in their life. And what you're doing here is designing it for scale and for leverage so that, like, 1 unit of input creates 5 units of output. You want to break the terrible math equation of being in corporate where you put a little input and you got just even a fraction of an output. It sucked. The math was horrible. Your hourly rate was awful when you looked at it, right? But when you do all of this, you then have options for yourself. I have clients that take this, they validate their business, which is premium, as a service, and then they say, how can I make this bigger? As part of our corporate graduation system, after we've freed someone up from a demanding corporate job, if they have one, and we've set a life design in motion, and we've rebuilt them an entrepreneurial identity to thrive in a new path, then they have the foundation to then build a business. It must happen in that sequence to succeed. Now, the question I often get is, Matt, what kind of business are we actually building here? Well, let's break that down today. First, I'll start with what we do not build. First, we don't build side hustles or passive income schemes. Now, why don't we do those things, especially passive income? Well, one, they aren't passive. Two, they take too much time. Three, require a ton of capital. Four, you're dependent on outside market conditions for things to go right, like real estate or franchises. And number five, maybe most impactful, you hate it. You don't like the work. And if you don't like your current corporate job and you start doing something on the side you don't like just for money, you're going to be very miserable. And you can't afford to feel any more miserable. You want purpose, autonomy, freedom, energized relationships. You want that now. Don't kick the can down the road and think that a few $100 a month from a real estate portfolio is going to get you that sort of outcome in your life. No, you need to take drastic action now. So we aren't building for passive income. We also aren't building for low ticket digital junk like ebooks, templates, simple courses, and you're not starting some sort of